probably tell that, yeah, Berserker is definitely the underdog coming into this. But I will say, here we are expanding into Alkione over here in the bottom left corner. We have a blue terror player for Team Liquid. Secure.
And the top right, we have for Berserker, BattleB.
Okay, and what I was going to say is that looking at all these three players from Berserker eSports, they are players who have proven in the past an ability to be able to punch above their weight. They've been able to take maps off of some of the top players in WTL, and they have been able to clutch out a couple of victories here and there as well. So I do think that Berserker eSports has a chance coming into this, but it's still going to be tough.
Oh yeah, it's still going to be an uphill battle, but as you mentioned, they have shown that they can definitely take maps and contest against the best players out there, so we'll see if they can really turn it on here and now. As a reminder here, it was at the start of the season where BattleB went 1-1 against Spirit, and DNS went 1-1 against MaxPax. So for comparison, I mean, Spirit and MaxPax are some of the best players in all of Europe, and both DNS and BattleB were able to contest against them and even show off and be comparable to them even as well. So they've done it before, but they need to do it again.
Yeah, they need to do it again now, and then possibly two more times. Well, I mean, that depends, right? I think that might be a shot here for Berserker to just scrape it into the playoffs if they win tonight, and if they're able to win their final two matches after this. But I mean, obviously that's a lot easier said than done.
Yeah, there's no more room for error. That's the problem right now. There's no more room for error here for Berserker. Meanwhile, Team Liquid, they have some wiggle room to work with, and of course I'm sure this will take this very, very seriously as well. As we are entering our TVT, for the time being it's going to be double gas openers for all around mirrored builds here between Cure and BattleB.
Here we go. Cure and BattleB as well. I do think, I normally when I think of them, I picture some of the more standard Terran players in the scene right now. Cure especially, I think, has kind of taken up that legacy from players like Innovation and whatnot, but BattleB also displaying a lot of, showing off a lot of standard play, he's not quite as stylistic as a player like, say, Euthermal, who we saw earlier tonight.
Yeah, I would definitely agree there. BattleB is not like overly cheesy or overly macro-oriented either, and yeah, because of that, he can maybe at times be a little bit more difficult to look up on and try to research as well. So that's why I'm always curious to see what BattleB has to offer here. Likewise, Cure. I mean, they're similar to each other in that respect, where they're not necessarily known for anything too heavily. I mean, I say that Cure was known for like 3x Marine in TVP for a while, I guess. True.
Always doing that no matter what. Yeah, he was also known for kind of embracing the Cyclone a lot more than the other players.
True.
You know, I don't know what's wrong with him, but he was a player who embraced the Cyclones.
Like, a lot of people did that back in the day, or earlier this year, I should say.
Yes, but I feel like Cure did it willingly, right? He was happy to embrace the Cyclones, as opposed to players like Gumiho and Gabe, who begrudgingly embrace Cyclones.
You're not wrong, though. You're not wrong. Did embrace them back then. I mean, it feels like so long ago, but it was still this year, which is crazy to think about, like just how time flies and how the meta does shift over time as well. But for now, we do see BattleB threatening the main base. He can, of course, dip in. At the same time, Cure going for his own drop across the map.
It's made me realize that we're more than halfway through the year.
We are.
Oh my. We're old.
We are getting old, Pappy, as the drop does come in. Marines are in position somewhat, but Medevac is under fire, and Curie's breaking through. Up the Medevac!
Will go down here for BattleB, and that will hinder a lot of the map control potential here for him. Cure gonna continue to try to get stuff done. He hasn't lost much. He's only lost a single Marine so far in his drop.
Yeah. Very efficient trade here. One Marine going down. Meanwhile, he gets a Medevac, gets more Marines as well. He forces BattleB all the way back home, and he gets a full scat as well, confirming the 1-1-1 follow-up, confirming the researching on that Raven. And we do see a third base on the way for BattleB. Meanwhile, Cure is moving out with everything he's got.
Yeah, he sees an opening, and he is going straight for it. He's going to try to pin BattleB down into a corner. We have two tanks now set up, and the Cyclone's gone.
Yeah,
for Cure, so that definitely helps out a ton.
Cyclone is going to be sniped here. Cure overextending a little bit. At the same time, he has the center of the map. Will catch out one of these Reapers and will force BattleB back for the time being. Again, both armies do posture against each other. No major commitment yet, as both armies are out on the map.
Yeah, which does leave an opening here. Sure, yeah.
Look how low this medevac. No fear. The Cyclone is coming in, and Cure, he will barely boost away.
I can't believe he was able to save that once again. I was half expecting Cure to just have his units go straight for the mineral line on a bit of a suicide mission, but to us, not the case. Cure, more than anyone else, is well aware of how quickly a TBT can snowball when you take a bit of a supply, an army supply deficit.
Yeah, and it's really impressive. I mean, because of these small little wins here and there, Cure, he does have a worker lead. He, of course, has the army lead as well, as he's settling into his third base. Meanwhile, BattleB has yet to expand. The Reapers will confirm. They're trying to keep tabs here on the third base location, but alas, the tanks on siege just in time. The Reapers, they get away.
They do get away, but they do also confirm the Raven count, the tank count. I'm sure Cure knows that with how much damage he's dealt early on in this game, BattleB has to push out. BattleB has to be gearing up for some kind of reciprocating aggression. And so Cure, yeah, he's just setting up for it. He's getting his tank sieged up. He's getting his Vikings. Stops at 2 Ravens, so he is going to be behind in that respect compared to BattleB.
Yeah.
But if he can utilize his Ravens well enough, he can zone them away.
Am I crazy? I thought I saw the third CC being built earlier by BattleB. Like, it's still in production.
Wait.
Like, was he not the first to start the third? I thought he was.
No. He was, but then his SCV got sniped, I think.
Okay,
by the Cyclone, and that allowed Cure to come in.
Yeah,
and finish up his CC a lot quicker.
Yeah, I think the CC of BattleB was left idle for a little bit longer. We didn't get to focus on the main base, but it looks like that's the case because this third base feels really late. I know it was delayed, but it feels even later than that. So it's just now being landed. Cure, meanwhile, on full 3-base saturation, looking strong. There's a lot of pressure on BattleB here to find some kind of economic damage.
Yeah, he's looking for it, but we'll see if he can find it. He does have 3 Ravens here, so a lot of auto tart potential. No missile turrets, no Vikings here in position to deal with that. You're trying to take out the production. That's a lot of auto turrets being thrown down, which is not ideal when your opponent also has Ravens and can just disable your tanks.
Yeah,
nothing holding Cure back now. He is going straight for the counterattack.
We collapse on the main arm. We're moving out across the map. BattleB, he's in a lot of trouble. His tank count was reset. And back at home, he does have a tank on the high ground. Thankfully, he does have that tank. But again, is that going to be enough to stop Cure?
I see what he did.
What would I do?
Yeah.
What?
Thankfully.
That's not what I was going for.
As Cure now with the map control, he's just waiting up a little bit longer for his Ravens to get their energy in place. There's the interference matrix, and here comes the stim.
Yeah. We're stimming on in. We focus on both those tanks, and now there's only Marines left. Alas, Cure can still just pushing forward and just choke BattleB out. Without any tanks to speak of, how can we hold on? One tank just now coming up, but Cure's within range.
Like so. Marines starting to go down. Liking the Marine split here from Cure as well. Actually, tanking a shot here from BattleB's one tank and allowing his own tanks to get a couple more volleys in. Disable, gonna be the nail in the coffin there. GG, Cure takes game number 1.
GG, well played. Cure looking strong there, just harassing, multitasking in the face of BattleB the entire time. Able to take a solid lead and just take it from there. GG.
Yeah. Very nicely done here. Very solid game, number 1 here coming out here from Cure. I think it's about what we expected, but now we're keeping our eyes peeled on that TBD. Map 2 graphic as BattleB of the thinking face. He's considering very carefully what his next map should be.
Yes, you can already see that Yaku's trying to incept the mind and be like, play on post youth. Calm down. We'll see what he does go for. Also, I did just
towers.
There you go. I did just check the VOD because I was really curious. BattleB, his building SUV was killed, and it took a minute, maybe more than a full minute to finally restart. Like, it was left just completely untouched for a very long time.
Yep, I remember.
Yeah. I was shocked to see, like, when we caught up, when the base was finally finishing up, I was like, wait, what? It's still in production? What's going? I swear, for a moment there, I thought it was a 4th CC. I just assumed that another had been made. I was so confused, but it was just unfortunately left idle and wasn't able to be worked on. BattleB falling further behind after the harassment. Just going to show just how much pressure Cure applies to you as a player and how much you have to deal with as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've all been there as Sharon players, I think, when you're up against a player as aggressive as Cure, as somebody who is very much on top of all his multi-prongs like that, and getting your attention picked apart a little bit. One thing ends up slipping, which ends up costing you big time as the game continues. But that was game number 1. We're getting to game number 2 here on Site Delta. In the top left-hand corner of the map, we have our blue terror player for Team Liquid, and it's Cure!
And bottom right, we have BattleB for Berserker eSports.
The B stands for Berserker.
There you go.
It's the Battle Berserker.
Berserker.
Yeah. Berserker. Berserker.
Look, they've got the Bio like little handheld thingy.
Yeah, that's a big handheld.
It's real.
That's a pretty
thick.
fat handheld. How do you hold that in your hands?
You need some big hands to play that. That's
You gotta cradle it.
You do.
Like on your lap. Very delicately, and it's weird because I think I saw a joystick coming out from the bottom over there, but there are also buttons on the screen as well. So it's like, how do you? Is it a handheld, or do you put it on your desk? And if you put it on your desk, how do you use the buttons? And if you put it on if you use it as a handheld, how do you use the joystick?
It's like a microwave, you know, like it's just on your desk, and you
it's like a microwave. You just hold it.
You just press the buttons. There you go.
Yeah.
I was looking at it.
It's not a console. Yeah.
It looks so. It's like an old a CRT TV. Like it's thick.
It looks like one of those old terminals, like computer terminals you see in Fallout.
Yeah.
It's thick. I mean, not that thick, because it's not that thick, but like proportion-wise, I feel like that's what you're going for here.
Sure, for sure.
It's one of those like things where, you know how nowadays you have keyboards that have like a typewriter, that have typewriter keycaps on them? It's for hipsters.
You already don't like it. You're like, baby, what are you doing right now? Okay, who's gonna buy this? What's going on? Also, I'm catching up with the chat.
Estimate my head.
All Terrans have been there, having been up against an aggressive Terran like Cure. Stu, you're outing yourself as someone who did not sign up for a Lima League back in the day. What's going on?
SMH my head.
What's going on?
I played against Cure.
Yeah. Just playing a Lima League.
SMH. Yeah. Forehead.
Shaking my head.
Actually, I don't think I played against Cure.
Yeah, no. I
don't remember. I played against Ryung. I played against Keen.
You played against Innovation.
Those are the 2 Terran players I remember. I played against Innovation. That was casted by Base Trade.
True. Infamously casted.
I remember chat. Its reaction to the Yaku trademark. This hashtag Singapore meta of going NG Bay first.
Oh my god. Good times.
Good times. 2017. Or possibly 2018. No, I think 2017. Back when I was still young. Well, no, that's a lie. I've never been young.
Yaku, you're still a child. What are you talking? What are you talking about? What do you mean? You're not old. You're like 17. God damn it.
Look, I've been 50 since I turned 16. I've been 35. I turned 35 the week before I turned 15.
Shaking my head, yeah. Shaking my head.
This is the real reason why we have cams off.
For now, though, we are settling in. We are going to be settling into our TBT here. Once again, Kira did open up a double gas, is going for the drop across the map. Meanwhile, BattleB taking a more defensive stance, and because of this, we have 3 Cyclones here back at home.
And that should just about be enough here to deal with this drop. But of course, the major question is going to be, where do we go from here? How do we utilize these 3 Cyclones after clearing out the drop?
Yeah, exactly, as we do fend back the army, and as you mentioned, how do we deal with the counterattack? As we are moving out across the map, we might be even be able to catch that medevac. Oh!
Like so, very quick drop, and we are able to take out the medevac. We're able to take out every single unit that Cure had in there, and now it's time for Cure to be on the back foot.
Yeah, likewise, BattleB throws down the 3rd CC immediately. This time it will not be delayed. This time it will not be disrupted. The CC's on the way, and we're going for that drop. Cure is in position and shouldn't lose too much to this, but again, is ideally, or the point here is that we're containing Cure on his 2 bases.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be ideal. I'm not going to lie, like, when I saw that BattleB pick Site Delta, I was half expecting tanks to come out from him, like an early safety tank and an all-out aggression, and this is a similar, we're not quite seeing that, but this is a build that has kind of a similar, rationale, or kind of a similar objective to it. Deal with the initial drop from your opponent, and then just go across the map and contain for as long as you can.
And BattleB's even rallying across the map as well. Again, the goal here is to contain, is to delay the 3rd base. I'm not so sure if we're going to try and force our way into the natural. That might be a bit of an overextension, but we'll see how BattleB does approach this. As again, as a reminder, behind this he has his 3rd base finishing up, and I mean, soon to be landed on location.
Yeah, compared to Cure, who will also be finishing up his 3rd, but will not be able to land it on location. We do have Interference Matrix finished for both of our players. We do have it researched, but Cure is the one who has the Raven advantage. Nope, not anymore, as BattleB comes in with reinforcements.
Yeah, reinforcements have arrived. You can see the Cure gets eyes on the would-be 3rd. We should be able to clean up this Marine without too much issue, and BattleB is not forcing his way into the natural. He's just parked right outside, hoping to catch out the army, ideally, and likewise head into the main base. The drop is poised to dive in once Cure moves out.
Sooner rather than later, ideally anyway. We do have a scan from Cure. We do see, he does see BattleB pulling back a little bit. I like this from Cure. Does have a couple of Marines and a Cyclone in position to deal with that drop.
Yeah, BattleB, he boosts in. Does boost into the mineral line. There is an army in position, so we shouldn't lose too much. We're going to get 2 SCVs so far. Pick up. We get the hell out of there. Nice trades. Nice damage so far by BattleB.
Yeah, I mean, that was barely a trade at all. That was literally just 2 free SCVs coming out here from BattleB. These 2 Ravens from Cure doing a lot of intimidation.
Yo, Ravens are terrifying. BattleB, he sees the Ravens, he picks up, he gets the hell out of there. Again, he doesn't want to get caught out, he doesn't want to lose his army, so we'll retreat. And now we see Cure taking his 3rd, but BattleB's is already fully saturated.
Yeah, all things considered, BattleB has secured his objective. He has been able to, mission accomplished with this initial move out. He's been able to contain Cure for long enough that now he is the player with the mining advantage. Mining a lot quicker, but I just like the mental image of 2 Ravens rocking up and the tank's just getting, the tank drive is just getting scared and running away.
I understand. As it looks like we have Marines in position, and the medevac is going to be targeted down. It will fall. The Cyclones likewise as well. At the same time, we hit the mineral line. 3 SCVs going to be going down, but Curie doesn't back off. He's moving out across the map.
Where we're going, we don't need no mining. I say that, but the boys haven't been pulled, so maybe we do.
Just a little bit. As Curie's rotating towards the right-hand side, just underneath the 3rd base, still has those 2 Ravens up and running as well. Tanks are slowly pushing forward. BattleB is in position. We'll see who's the first to pull the trigger.
Oh, it's the Ravens. The Ravens do get an eyeful of everything that BattleB has. Marines, unfortunately, not quite in position to deal with that, and every single tank gets interfered, gets disabled, really allows these Marines secure to just stim on forward, and now the 3rd is in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, we're within range. We force the pick up here on the third base, force a float over towards the northern side. 12-13, SCV's going to be going down. A very nice start here for Cure. Bearing in mind, though, he didn't kill many tanks. He only got one, and instead, BattleB going for a massive Doom Drop across the map.
Which Cure, will now scout. And will now try to get in position to deal with.
Yeah, the one straight tank did confirm at the same time. Cure going for another dive, and there's not that much to protect these tanks.
Yeah, no buffer here for these Marines, or for these tanks rather, so the Marines just stim on forward, take out every single tank, take out every single SCV. BattleB gonna be reciprocating the damage just barely.
Going for the CC, the CC will burn down.
Get the CC, it burns.
Yeah, we did not get the repairs in time. That's a kill on the third base, but at the same time, Cure is still pushing in within range of the fourth CC of BattleB. A little bit greedy, but is looking to push in towards that natural. Meanwhile, BattleB goes for the drop into the main.
Yeah, we double down. We get right on top of the production. But Cure here with reinforcing Marines will be able to chase us back for now.
Yeah, we'll chase this back, forces back that drop. 2 full medivacs full of Marines have fallen just to escape, and BattleB is still stuck on 2 bases, but he's still in this, is still alive.
Yeah, I absolutely want to give the advantage now to BattleB, obviously, as he still has that third CC. He can still produce those. He can still produce more workers, and the armies are looking pretty comparable, but yeah, we'll see where we go from here. Cure, it's in his best interest right now to try to force the issue, to try to force a fight and win that fight as quickly as possible, whereas BattleB, he can be patient. He can hang back for now.
Yeah, the other deciding factor here as all 2 medivacs go down is that BattleB's contained. Right now he's stuck on 2 bases, and it's about when, where, and if he can actually take his third. He has the orbital, but he's not able to make use of it, not yet, as he's being chased back. Cure does have map control. He's trying to break out.
Oh. The high ground tanks, that was a very costly, some very costly casualties coming out here from BattleB. The army supplies were looking pretty comparable, but now Cure is ahead. And yeah, as you mentioned, because BattleB, despite having the third base, because he's not able to actually land it, the production is looking pretty similar here for Cure and BattleB.
It really is. Upgrades also in favor of Cure. He has +2 attack with his bio army, and again, as you mentioned, this positioning is brutal. We can try to break out with disables, but that is still 5 tanks within range. Oh, we do Sniper Raven, though.
All right, good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. And we are starting to get some Liberators as well here for BattleB. So yeah, he is setting up to break out his contain, but he still needs time to get there. And Cure is willing to give it to him because now he lands his third CC. Now, even though he has to change it into an orbital, so that's going to take up some time, he at least is able to mine from that, from those mineral patches.
Yeah, so Cure takes the economic advantage. We can see that BattleB is trying to threaten that third, but Cure is in position. The bio army of BattleB does nothing and is still stuck on these 2 bases. Here we go, Liberators have arrived. We have freedom, and now we can break out.
We have freedom, we have map control, and there's not a whole lot that Cure can do here. Tries to stem on forward to deal with the libs, but there are tanks in the back line. And BattleB will break out of this.
Yeah, we're trying to chase down those tanks, but we do pick up, we do boost the hell out of there, and Cure will escape. BattleB can finally expand. And now we have a bit of a back and forth going on. Worker counts are similar, army supplies are similar as well, but the upgrades, Cure, he's already working on 3-3.
Like so. BattleB still struggling to get an economy that can get to that stage at the moment.
As Cure, he has the high ground sieging up. Likewise, BattleB working forward here with his own Liberators. Are going to be catching some of these SCVs as well at the would-be fourth.
Yeah, not too bad here.
Oh.
BattleB sims on forward, but yeah, there are reinforcements here for Cure, but not too many of them, so yeah, these Marines can still get a lot of work done in the meantime.
Yeah, 8 SCVs go down, drop into the main. At the same time, BattleB does rotate around, and his main army's headed for the third base of Cure. Meanwhile, Cure, I don't know if you noticed, but he is taking a fourth. That is his main. His main has lifted.
Yep.
Is being used as a fourth.
Like so. Oh, the libs! Not quite able to get what they want out, but it does clear the way for the main army of BattleB.
Yeah, BattleB, that's a kill on the third CC. Liberators, they were buying time, but they all got reset, and now we go for the dive. We go for the tanks.
Yeah, interference matrix right at the end there here for Cure. He will stim on forward. He will take out the tanks. There's still a lot of Marines in Cure's main base dealing with a lot of de-reinforcers and a lot of production. But I'm looking at the RB supply difference right now, Light. I'm looking at the fact that BattleB's tank count got reset once again. And I feel like Cure has the potential. There we go for the counterattack.
I mean, Cure, it's all or nothing at this point. He's down to 2 bases, down to a 2-base economy. BattleB does have the economic advantage, but as you mentioned, he is down in army, and Cure has a massive force working for him here. And 3-3 is finishing up just in time for this push.
And we do have a couple of tanks here for BattleB, but like you said, that +3 armor is going to be helping out a ton on these Marines. It means they can tank at least one more volley coming out from these siege tanks.
And they do break through the initial line of defense. We have 2 more tanks here on the high ground, but Cure, he avoids the third base, goes straight for the natural instead. Up!
Go for the throat. Going back and forth a little bit does mean that he eats a couple of tank shots to the face.
Yeah, a little bit indecisive, but it's going to be enough. GG gets called, and Cure will take the 2-0.
GG. Yeah, it does get cured.
They do have a Zerg player, obviously, Yaku. Oh my god, how could you forget?
Look, Poland.
True.
That's my answer.
True.
Does it count if is a Zerg player really a Zerg player if they're from Poland?
Exactly. Spirit is known for being Protoss.
Exactly.
He has to be.
It's a land of Protoss. Protoss specifically.
Exactly. We have our players getting ready here. Here we go. We have DNS and SKillous as well in this PvP game 1. Ghost River.
Oh, okay. Very aggressive map. Something that really lends itself very well to gateways being thrown down in the middle. But here we go. Jumping into Ghost River in the top right-hand corner of the map. The blue Protoss player for Team Liquid. We have SKillous rocking that rainbow.
In the top right, we have DNS, or top left, we have DNS for Berserker eSports. The rainbow?
Again, ready. Yeah. On the Team Liquid emblem on the jersey.
Oh,
I'm sure you noticed that.
I didn't see. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Nice. It's like a variant. It's like a variant jersey that you can get now.
I like to think that like every new like season of jersey they just get free merch.
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were gonna say I like to imagine that every season they just redesign their jersey.
I think they do. I think they do. Like maybe not every season, but every year. I think they redesign.
That's like in soccer, I think, where the teams have to change their jersey every time they get a new sponsor, and they always get new sponsors every season, or they always get different sponsors every season. It's SMH my head. Melbourne victory. 2009 jersey was perfect. They had to change it.
I have no idea what you're talking about. What do you mean 2009? That's like before you were born, Yaku. What are you talking about? What do you mean? Melbourne victory 2009.
Yeah, Melbourne victory when they had the dynamic duo of Danny Elsop and Archie Thompson.
Who? What are you talking about?
The dynamic striker duo, you know, that Danny Elsop and
Why do you know
Archie
this?
Thompson.
Why do you know this? What are you talking about? God damn it. Yaku.
I know this because I had a copy of FIFA 09 back in the day. And I exclusively played Aussie teams.
Okay.
Because there were no Asian teams. Oh no, there were I think there was the Chinese and the Korean national team.
Okay.
But I didn't like them, so I went with Melbourne victory.
Okay. Fair enough. That would have been on the PS2? Or
yeah, PS2. I played it on the PSP.
Okay.
And I didn't have home consoles at the time.
Fair enough.
Fun fact, that PSP was a hand-me-down from I think my cousin after he got a Vita. He was like, "Yo, you want this?" I'm like, "Yes, I'll take it."
There you go. For context, the last FIFA game that I played was FIFA 2001. That was my game. Yeah.
That was like the year I was born. Because fun fact, with the naming conventions of FIFA games, they always do a year after. They always name it 1 year after.
Yeah.
That was back in 2000.
Yeah, it was. It came out with the launch of the PS2, which was in the year 2000. There you go.
Yeah.
As we're settling in,
Anyway, we're getting into Ghost River, and we do not see a proxy in the middle of the map. So that's how you know that our players are not animals.
yeah, I mean, I appreciate that we're able to embrace something other than Phoenix Wars. If you remember, we casted Young Zest versus Firefly earlier today, which was purely Phoenix versus Phoenix for the entirety of the best of 2. But here we can embrace something different, something not Phoenix related.
Yes, it is Twilight Councils coming up from both of our players. So. Yeah, most likely Blink going to be coming out. We have seen a couple of players in PvPs recently rock out with glaives in PvP, but that's not going to be the case here. SKillous diving in, or DNS, sorry, diving in. Getting a couple of probes with that initial Oracle. Not quite able to get any more done, though.
Yeah, 2 probe kills is an okay amount of damage. Meanwhile, both players working towards a Blink Stalkers. The Oracle, I believe, is still alive in the corner of the map, so it can always threaten the main bases once again as we have invested into a second Oracle, catching another probe, at least trying to.
Oh. Yeah, not quite getting there. Adept does shade in, however, completes the shade, and will be able to clean up, will be able to finish a job that these Oracles started. So 5 probes going down from the side of SKillous. Despite 5 probes going down from the side of SKillous, so he's actually even slightly ahead when it comes to the worker count.
Yeah, there you go. Does have that slight lead, but third base on the way for SKillous. Meanwhile, we have eyes on the Oracles. Stalkers in position. The Oracles, for the time being, are being pinned here in the corner of the map. But 2 Oracles can one-shot workers. They can always break out at any moment, and SKillous has to respect them.
Yeah, going to be not quite able to take the bait, or rather DNS not quite taking the bait with that Haluked Phoenix. We'll be trying to take a look around, see what else he can get done, but the answer is not much when there are this many stalkers in the mineral lines.
Yeah, we're just trying to get a read on any hidden tech, something like a Dark Shrine, an extra Robo, a Bay, for example, a Forge as well. So just perpetually scouting each other as we are expanding, taking our third bases. Oracles are recalled back home, and the game is gonna settle a little bit from here.
Yeah, no animals. Well, they're not animals yet, is the thing. Game number 1, they are just playing up very standard macro, but we'll see if that changes. Game number 2, Blink going to be finishing up for DNS, and I believe it finished for Skillous a while ago as well. I'm just going to assume that he has that upgrade.
Was stamina a thing in your FIFA game? Is that a thing?
It wasn't, and I remember that specifically because I used to pass the ball to my goalkeeper and just have the goalie just run across the map and score goals.
Okay.
And I was so upset when I played a newer FIFA game when I found out that I couldn't do that. I think it was FIFA 20 was my reintroduction. I was so upset when I found out that they introduced stamina and I couldn't do that.
Yeah, you can you have like bursts where you can like sprint and then less so, right? Is that how it works?
I think that's how
in the new game.
I think so because in the new games it's like if you try to run across the map and sprint across the map, you're just gonna run out and you end up having a player faint. But that wasn't a thing back when I played.
Okay, fair enough.
So even though I had the dynamic duo of strikers on Melbourne Victory, I would just pass the ball to the goalie and be like, yeah.
I appreciate
and the in-game commentators would be like, whoa, what's going on here? They'd freak out.
I appreciate the commentary in the chat, like, yo, you played like the worst teams in the game. which I would understand. Like, Australia, not really known for its football teams, not gonna lie.
Yeah. They have some pretty good soccer managers.
Okay.
But not the players, no.
Okay. Take your word for it.
I like how slow, bro, like calling me out. I'm like, yeah, I'm calling the pitch the map. So yeah, soccer players, they run across the map, and it's like, no, it's a field, or it's a map.
We need to commentate FIFA one day. That's what we need to do.
That's what we gotta do, yeah. We gotta commentate FIFA, but we also have to have the in-game commentators turned on.
Exactly.
While that's going on. We'll just madden it up.
Oh my god. As the game did settle down, of course, third base is being taken, fourth bases are on the way. DNS is being active, is marauding around the map, looking for any stray units, looking for any stray observers specifically, but the armies do miss each other, and ooh, SKillous is spotted. The Immortal
does get taken out immediately. Huge pickoff here for DNS, but I mean, that's still a massive army supply lead that SKillous has right now, so yeah, it's a really good pickoff here for DNS, but he's not really going to have enough momentum to keep this going. He does have army control, kind of has army control for now. SKillous is looking to break out.
Yeah, we are finally going to be able to break out here, contesting against the Stalkers of DNS. Now the big warping as well. No Immortals here from the side of SKillous, but again, with that Archon, we can help deal with any stray Zealots. For the time being, though, DNS just focusing on a purely Stalker army.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen pure Stalker armies work out a couple of times in the past with good enough micro. I mean, Gabe versus Christianer was one off the back of a pure Stalker army there, but obviously that was a PvT, and obviously that was also very different circumstances, so we'll see how good DNS's micro is here to counteract the larger and more high-tech army of SKillous.
I had a very confused look on my face when you said Gabe versus Christianer. I'm like, that was not a PvP, but okay.
Yeah, that was it wasn't a PvP, but it was a game that Christiana won off the back of his soccer control.
True. Yeah, did happen. Behind this, we can see DNS was able to distract the main army, did go for some Zealot warping towards the natural, going to be dancing here against the main force. Meanwhile, DNS also throwing down a Dark Shrine behind this.
Yeah, when behind, you get some Dark Templar.
Yeah, that's what they say. That's what Rain said.
That's what they say. Yeah. Have it on record. That was how he won his first GSL.
It is.
Fun fact. But yeah, Dark Shrine now on the way, and I cannot blame DNS for going this way at all. Not only is he a little bit behind when it comes to his tech, but he also is pretty gas-starved, not gonna lie. So DTs would definitely help him out a lot more compared to High Templar, if he does want to prioritize getting Archons.
As we're hoping in 10 Zealots at a time. Let's go, getting ready for another wave of reinforcements to flank the army, to even go for a run by and a counterattack. Meanwhile, the Archon count still looking quite healthy for SKillous Zealots. They're going to have a hard time breaking through as we're trying to focus on the Immortal. The Immortal is going to be saved.
Yeah, those Archons coming in clutch in the back line. Those are pretty much free Zealots here getting taken out. And now DNS very much so on the back foot. He does have the economic advantage slightly, but he is so far behind when it comes to the army. SKillous has full map control, and he has so much momentum that he can keep this push going.
He really can, and we're going to be diving on forward as well. Stalkers, they can trade well, kiting back, but there's so much more behind this with the Immortals, with the Stalkers as well, as SKillous does force DNS back, unable to really push up the ramp, not yet, but SKillous is soon to max out.
He's about to max out with Archons to deal with the Zealots of DNS, with Immortals to deal with the Stalkers of DNS. If there was ever a path to victory here for him, DNS would need to buy himself as much time as possible. He needs to turtle up and try to match SKillous when it comes to the tech, but SKillous ain't having it.
Yeah, he denied the center base, so now SKillous, he's up a Nexus. At the same time, did force DNS all the way back home. DNS is in position to protect his fourth at least, but is being pinned back as we speak, and SKillous is now maxed out. There is a Warp Prism that can threaten a counterattack, that is true, but yet to come into play.
Yeah, and yet to come into play as DNS is, or was rather, supply blocked for a little while, so I was quite able to do much of anything. SKillous moving up this ramp, and it's something that he can do, considering the fact that DNS is rather lacking in splash damage.
Yeah, that he is. No one is working towards disruptors yet. That would be a way to bounce back in this game if we were down a little bit, to work towards disruptor production, but alas, no one has really taken that step yet here, as SKillous is still building up, rotating around. We can see DNS trying to catch any stray units, going for the Immortal.
Yeah, nice pick off here. But that's just the beginning of what DNS really has to accomplish with his blinks.
Yeah, one Immortal goes down. We have many more to work through as well. At the same time, SKillous pushing forward, trying to gain ground and move in towards that fourth base. Does collapse on the main army and does force DNS back.
For now. Oh. Yeah, we do have a couple of Zealots gonna be dropped into this wave. I say Zealots, but actually That's ETs.
Yeah, but we lock down the army with those reinforcing zealots here from the side of SKillous. We have a cannon in the mineral line as well to provide some detection, and SKillous still has control of the high ground, again denying any further expansions from DNS.
Yeah, this is more than fine right now with SKillous. He isn't feeling much pressure, or any pressure really, to try to reinforce across the map on the front lines. He knows he still has a very terrifying army that DNS does not want to contend with, so yeah, he's just maintaining his map control. Trades very, very well against all those zealots that DNS had in his main army.
Yeah, it does trade well. Meanwhile, we go for another big warp it into the main base, trying to distract the reinforcements of SKillous, trying to pull his attention apart, but SKillous still maintains control of the high ground, is still holding on, still containing DNS.
We do have a little bit of a, not quite a blink right on top of this. The Warp Prism still survives, and it, yeah, once again provides SKillous with so much micro potential and so much reinforcements.
Yeah, meanwhile across the map, I believe SKillous has cleaned up the harassing force. I think the Prism has been dealt with as well, not entirely certain of that, and now can focus on the main push. DNS down in supply, the Immortal's exposed, the Immortal is going to go down.
And now there's nothing holding SKillous back, except for the battery overcharge.
Yeah, we respect the overcharge, do respect it for the time being, as it is about to run out. Once it's done, SKillous, he can just keep on pushing and just commit. And again, DNS has just been working with a subpar army here, did have the mobility advantage over SKillous, but unable to fully make use of it.
And now that mobility advantage is starting to leave, he's getting locked down into the corner, he's running out of room to kite back to and blink back to. Okay, get it. Okay. Immortal was looking a little bit exposed over there, but yeah, not quite. Not quite.
Doesn't quite dive on top of it here, as DNS is still being contained. SKillous is still maxed out. Looks like we have more DTs warping in to harass across the map. It's going to take quite some time to move out, and I believe SKillous should have cannons in his mineral lines as we try to gain ground here once again. Nice control out of SKillous. He does preserve those Immortals.
And yeah, he's just trading very, very well here. SKillous is being so patient. He knows that there's no pressure on him to really push into DNS, so he's just waiting on the high ground in locations that are advantageous to him, and he's letting DNS move through the meat grinder. Push himself through the meat grinder.
Yeah, essentially. I mean, what else can DNS do, right? He's being starved out. You can see that he's running out of minerals, running out of resources in his main, and his natural at his third base as well. Even at that fresh fourth is oversaturated and still desperately wants to break out. SKillous doing everything he can to contain him. DNS finally forced to throw down the Temple Archives. He can now make his own Archons. I mean, I guess he can with DTs, but working towards the High Templar as well.
Yeah. Slowly but surely. And it's one way of diversifying. Not quite diversifying your splash damage, but diversifying your paths to getting splash damage, you know?
Yeah, I'm still a little bit shocked that we haven't seen that kind of move into Disruptors. It's something that we have avoided from DNS. Does snipe 2 Immortals. Very nicely done. Very high pickoffs, high value pickoffs here from DNS as he is trying to break out and still has potential to take a fight.
He's looking to both of our players just snaking around, trying to find an opening here that isn't really being presented.
Speaking of an opening, SKillous, he pushes up the ramp.
He will get on top of this army. Yeah, he's forcing this back. Guardian shield is popped, but there's no shield battery or anything here. That's really the moneymaker or the make-or-break unit in a fight.
Yeah, DNS caught out of position. He was trying to read the army rotation. Alas, he did miss it. So we do push up the ramp. Prism is going to get sniped, and SKillous trying to force his way through here. The Immortal's unable to do too much. There's only one Immortal left here for SKillous, but he has the better concave. At the same time, he does hit the fourth.
Does hit that fourth base, and the Warp Prism went down earlier on, so the defender's advantage really coming in clutch here for DNS. SKillous gonna be taking out that fourth base, and now DNS is forced all in. Has a lower army supply, but we'll see if he can make use of it. The army of SKillous right now is spread a little thin.
It is spread thin. We can try to overwhelm and try to pick him apart. Meanwhile, Zealous, they collapse on the main army. The Immortals are getting caught in the back line. GG gets called as we set up a full surround, and SKillous will take game number 1.
GG. Nicely done here. Taking game 1 for LQD, apparently, is the in-game clan name.
I did see that. I did see that. There was some censorship going on Liquid. You have to be solid on this stream.
Yeah. Or at least not a full Liquid, or apparently.
There you go.
Question mark. But yeah, GG. GG. Very nicely done here from SKillous. Very, very patient play coming out from him. There were perhaps a couple of times where it seemed like there was an opening that he could maybe pounce on top of DNS's army, but I mean, I guess it just goes to show you how much respect there is on DNS's name, right? Just how well known he is for just clutching out defenses like that. So SKillous didn't want to take his chances. He just wanted to make sure that he didn't throw away his army unnecessarily. He didn't blink on forward. He didn't poke the bear that is DNS too hard.
Yeah, the Berserker bear, if you will. And I mean, I would go as far as to say, I mean, DNS, we didn't get to talk about it. He is the ace player. I would say he's the ace player of Berserker eSports, and he's the one to contest against the players of Team Liquid. Does take a loss here in game 1, but again, he was able to go the distance here against SKillous. One of the big advantages of Ghost River is all these choke points, all these ramps as well, so he was able to defend for a long time, but unfortunately was overwhelmed, and he couldn't keep up economically with SKillous. I'm curious, though, what map we load into?
That we shall find out. I'm thinking Amphion, and I have nothing to really base that off of, but I think Amphion would be pretty good. It might throw us back to a couple of Phoenix Wars coming down.
Santa Maria, Bobby. Did you see that?
Santa Maria. Yeah, he did a little like cross.
With DNS, he's talking to himself a little bit here. He was closing his eyes, you know. I feel like maybe calling on Maria herself.
Yeah, calling on Big M, as they call her.
They did call her that. They do. It's true. I was gonna calm down, Bobby. Calm down.
I was gonna say, you know, folding up bombing a little bit, but I was like, oh, that might be sacrilegious.
Okay.
That would be a little sacrilegious.
I thought you were gonna go the other way and do like your best like pastor impression and just go ham. But we don't have to.
Oh, you mean the Lord? Calm down. That pastor or the
the first one. First one. It's fine. But we are gonna be settling in here, getting ready for game number 2, and it is gonna be on Oceanborn.
Yeah. Okay. And we continue our trend of, you know, the first river zigs, the second river, the first map zigs, like Ghost River. The second map sags. We're going to see as we load into Oceanborn right here in the bottom right hand corner of the map. We have our blue Protoss player repping Team Liquid. With that rainbow, we have SKillous.
And in the top left, we have DNS for Berserker eSports. Whew, and here,
it makes sense though. Ghost River is a prequel to Oceanborn. Because rivers, you know, they go to the ocean.
True. There you go.
Yeah.
That's what happens when the oceans dry up. They become ghost rivers.
Exactly. No, do the oceans dry up? Or I thought the rivers dry up. And then the oceans flood.
They flood?
Look, I've been told that sea. It's rising.
You're saying when the sea rises, the rivers dry up? Is that how it works?
Is that how it works? I don't...
Pretty sure that the rivers, they come from the sea.
Is that how that works? I thought it was the other way around.
No. The rivers, they don't feed the sea.
Because the rivers, they flow to the sea, right? They don't?
They don't float out of the sea? I guess, no, true. I think rivers, don't they, like, float down, like, mountains from, like, melted ice caps?
Yeah.
Is that how that works?
Or from underground.
Okay.
Or is it underground? Or because I think it is from the mountains. That's why they have like the mountain spring.
I'm sure water can originate from many places. I'm sure there's no hard set rule on that one. I think it's fine.
Oh, that's true. The waters can, because sometimes the water like it comes from above.
From the sky. crazy.
The clouds, you know. What if really what happens is it's not. Wait, how does this work? We got a forward pylon being thrown out by DNS, not quite a proxy, as the probe goes home, and SKillous gonna be scouting around, checking for anything out of the ordinary.
Yeah, we do have our hidden fake proxy pylon out of DNS towards the northern half of the map. As you can see here, we have our pylon, no commitments with it, but SKillous is on the hunt, is checking some of these locations, and it looks like we will come across the pylon.
Yeah, we'll confirm that's just going to be a 4 pylon, so SKillous doesn't have too much to worry about, but obviously at any point you could just go and attack that pylon.
Yeah, as with his skills, he's now fully aware.
Force a little bit of supply block, potentially.
Yeah, again, the pylon is a little bit more exposed, and SKillous is now very safe and secure. He knows that there is no committed proxy, there's no Stargate out there, there's no one base all in. We're going to be settling into a longer game, and DNS is going to be teching up in towards a Twilight Council.
Here we go. We don't have confirmation yet from SKillous, but there we go. Twilight Council also going to be the tech of choice.
Yeah, we are working towards Blink here from both sides. Likewise, we are expanding as well. We started things off with a cheeky hidden pylon, but outside of that, nothing too crazy. You mentioned it before, SKillous is looking to hunt down that pylon. No reason not to. Is making his way over and hopefully isn't punished for doing so.
Yeah, and we'll see how this plays out. SKillous could be dealing with that pylon, but I don't think DNS has too much to really reciprocate.
Yeah, the hallucination does confirm that DNS is back at home, not across the map, so SKillous is safe and sound. He also does scout and confirm the adepts that are shading across the map as well, so SKillous, he knows to prepare, knows to get ready. Stalkers are moving out to intercept, and yeah, so far SKillous with some nice map control here on Ocean Boy.
Just like so. Yeah, gonna be full on dictating the pace of the game from here on out. We'll see if DNS is somehow able to get a couple of shades, go into these mineral lines, and yeah, just actually make use of these adepts that he made earlier.
Yeah, it does make use of them, at least trying to, we should say. Third base is now being taken here from DNS. SKillous yet to throw that in his own, but only by a couple of seconds. It looks like he's not going to be too far behind that of DNS, and so far the early game is kind of being a little bit more passive here. We're just working our way towards the third base and towards the mid game.
Slowly but surely. Macro protest coming up here, and I feel like I need to switch gears a little bit to get ready for this after casting Firefly versus Young Zest.
Yeah, we had a much more intense, chaotic PvP, and now we do see DNS moving out towards the third base. Does catch some of the sentries.
Beautiful force fields coming out for him. He's going to be able to catch almost every sentry, and the one remaining sentry of SKillous obviously doesn't have a lot of energy on it, so there's a lot of momentum here for DNS. Can try to force a cancel on this third base.
Yeah, he's attempting to does trade well for himself, but it looks like he might even lose his own sentry as a result. Reinforcements have arrived. SKillous going to try and force this back with good enough blink control. I mean, both players are blinking well. Oh.
But it looks like SKillous will get the upper hand here, will be able to blink on forward and chase down these stalkers. Nice little use of the shrubbery, but very quick reactions coming up from SKillous, blinking back his injured stalkers.
Yeah, does a blink away, does pull back, but SKillous, he does maintain his third base. DNS forced all the way back home, and now SKillous can be the aggressor, and we can apply pressure. No shield, but over here at the third.
And all of a sudden, this third base is in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, is in a lot of trouble. DNS being forced back, and Pro getting picked up as well, but here comes the Immortal with help of the Immortal. We should be able to hold on. I say that we still have an overwhelming Stalker account.
Yeah, we'll see how well. There we go. Guardian Shell just got activated, and now that Immortal's a lot more vulnerable than it once was, we do see a pretty huge gateway explosion coming out from SKillous, as well as a Warp Prism now being routed across the map. That's 6 gateways on the way.
That is 6 gates on the way here. SKillous rallying as much as he can. He wants to try to break DNS here and now before he can really get this third base up and running.
Yeah, but so far, it's much easier said than done. Immortal still stands strong, and SKillous going to be backing away for now.
Yeah, he backs off. He recognizes he cannot break the base, especially with a second Immortal arriving. And now instead we take a fourth. We take a fourth base, we expand, we calm things down. It was a pretty intense back and forth trade that we had here in the mid-game. But the game is going to settle for now.
Yeah, it might have been an opening here for SKillous, but it was a very small opening. You know, he would have to squeeze, it'd be a tight fit. And so he decided, you know what, I don't want to deal with that. I'm just going to hang back and get even further ahead.
Yeah, he's going to hang back. We'll take that extra expansion, as you did mention. Both players are building up towards charge lots, but DNS is, I believe, the first to take up. We do have the Templar Archives on the way.
Yeah, okay, so definitely rectifying a couple of his mistakes from game number 1 on Ghost River. He's also the first player, I believe. No, not quite. I was going to say the first player, I believe, to get a 4th base, but SKillous is not too far behind.
Yeah, SKillous, his 4th is already done at this point, is getting up and running, main-arted as we speak, so it does have that economic advantage. At the same time, catching out a couple of free zealots. Not bad. One zealot does go down, and we go for a warp into the main.
Yeah, that's our Tosis pylon powering a lot of the gateways. As the army of DNS switches positions, it opens up an opening by this 4th base location for SKillous. Charge is not going to be complete for quite some time. I worry here immensely for DNS.
Yeah, we do force a recall, and DNS does at least hold on to that 4th base. I was a little bit concerned that we were going to be able to break through then and there and contain on 3 bases, but we're not done. We go for another massive warp in. The Stalker army still being active as well, trying to catch up any kind of reinforcements, and we do catch the Immortals.
We get a full surround on top of DNS's Protoss force, and it looks like there's nothing that can stop SKillous this point forward. Zealots are zooming across the map, taking out the Immortals, and GG is called. SKillous gonna be winning this series, gonna be winning his match, gonna be winning this series for Team Liquid.
GG, well played. SKillous does claim the 2-0 here. Game 1 was more back and forth, but here in game number 2, we saw a much more aggressive, much more assertive SKillous, just applying pressure, moving out, and just never giving DNS any breathing room whatsoever. He was just all over him, and eventually did pull him apart.
He did. He learned after game number 1. He decided, I've had enough of patient play. I'm just going for a very potent timing, and with that, he was able to pick DNS apart, win that series, win the match for Team Liquid, but we are not done just yet.
Yes, we're not done. We still have one best of 2 remaining here, a best of 2 between Mana and GunGFuBanDa. Of course, Team Liquid, they will win the series, but Berserker eSports, or I should say GunGFuBanDa, can still play for map score, can still play for extra prize money as well, as the prize payout does depend on how many maps you've taken in the group stage, so there's still that on the line, alongside individual ELO ranking as well.
Yeah, and those ELOs are very important as we get to some of our individual leagues, and you know, we're kind of approaching the end of WTL. We're at least approaching the end of the group stage at WTL, and before we get into the winter season, I have to imagine that SC Boy wants to hold at least one invitational.
Yeah, I mean, Masters Coliseum has been very consistent when it comes to these big events at the end of the year. We'll see if we do embrace one at the end of the season, even after this summer season. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on, of course, on SC Boy and their announcements. They'll most likely have a Master Coliseum. Most likely.
Yeah. Most likely. Obviously, we have Kung Fu Cup every week, but I mean, that's... yeah,
it's all building.
I imagined it wouldn't. Yeah. It's all building.
It is, and we have our players. Here we go. Mana going to be stepping in first, stepping up to the plate. Mana, has taken a bit of a more managerial role as of recent years in Team Liquid, but in recent months, what I will say, I don't know if it was him competing in the Stormgates like beta, like Showmatch at DreamHack Dallas, but I don't know if it was that or something else, but like a fire has been lit in Mana. It has been quite competitive once again. Like Mana definitely can go toe-to-toe with some of the best players in Europe.
Yeah, we've seen him recently sign up again for some of the Polish lands, and he has been making some pretty deep runs in those, proving himself over and over and over again. Man, like you pointed out, we haven't been able to catch him as much in WTL as we would have liked to, so yeah, it's really nice that we're able to see him now towards the end of our group stage.
Yeah, I'm always going to remember his ESL Europe run that he had earlier, but here we go, just jumping right on in top left-hand corner, we have Mana for Team Liquid.
Over here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, we of course have our red Protoss player playing for Berserker eSports. It's GunGFuBanDa.
Rocky, a new haircut.
Ooh. Yeah. You'll love to see it.
Well, it's Super Saiyan.
He's getting there, yeah. It's getting over 9,000.
Let's go. But it was Mana competing in the ESL European weeklies recently, where he was able to actually bring down Gabe. He did actually knock Gabe out of a tournament. This was like I would say 2 months ago now.
And that was Gabe's domain.
Yeah.
That was his realm, his kingdom.
So Mana has been able to pop off from time to time and can definitely peak and take at some of these other bigger names. So I'm curious to see how this plays out. I think I had a really hard time predicting for this one. I think I went 1-1 for Mana and GunGFuBanDa, but I had a really hard time whether I wanted to settle on that or give the edge to one of our players.
Yeah, I think I ended up going 1-1 as well. But predicting 1-1 as well. For most of these, it's like you said, GunGFuBanDa hasn't been the most consistent player in the world, but when he shines, he absolutely shines through. He is able to punch so far above his weight that it almost feels like we have to check if there was an earthquake or something. So, yeah, it really does depend on the day itself and how he is, how his form is on the day itself.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's all about the form on the day, on the play day here for our players. For now, we're loading into Amphion. Amphion, known for its gate expands. As we say that, we have our gateway set up. This is a big reason as to why we saw Phoenix Wars between Young Zest and Firefly, and we should be seeing Phoenix Wars here as well. I say should. GunGFuBanDa did go for a late second gas, so it looks like GunGFuBanDa wants to be greedy and he wants a faster Nexus.
Now we'll keep our eyes peeled here. Mana so far being so annoying with that probe.
Yeah, exactly. Mana is going for the Stargate first before the Nexus. Meanwhile, GunGFuBanDa couldn't afford that Stargate because of the delayed gas here. There we go. Nexus is on the way. We will not have Phoenix Wars as we don't have Stargate versus Stargate. We'll have a different matchup, different dynamic. Regardless, GunGFuBanDa will get the faster base.
I like to imagine we're still going to see a ton of Phoenixes coming out from Mana.
We'll see if that's where we kind of direct this. Meanwhile, Oracle first from Mana. GunGFuBanDa, meanwhile, throwing down another gateway. Again, has a faster Nexus. Might even set up across the map as he's going for his take of choice, going for a Twilight Council.
Like so. So very normal, standard things coming out from GunGFuBanDa. It's Mana who's actually the one who deviates slightly from traditional PvP thought.
Yeah, so we have our Oracles using them to defend. Stalkers are gaining some ground, but we have a shield battery on the way, and Mana, he should be able to hold on.
Yeah, it's only a single Oracle for now. Not going to be able to get too much damage with that shield battery. I say with that shield battery, but there isn't one in the main from what I can see.
We have the Stalkers recalling just in time. The Oracle is going to be fended away, and so far, GunGFuBanDa is defending. What's important, though, is that there's not just one. There's a second Oracle in production, or second Oracle, sorry, moving out across the map as we speak, so we can one-shot workers. Even if there was a shield battery, we can still threaten the bases here of GunGFuBanDa.
It's a little trickier when you have Stalkers in position, but not impossible to outmaneuver.
As the Oracles are getting lined up. Meanwhile, we can see Mana trying to go for his own Twilight Council as well. We do dip into the natural base. We do get 2 probes. Oh!
3 probes. Nicely done. Keeps both the Oracles alive as well. So, yeah, nicely done here from Mana. Not quite taking the lead, but definitely evening things out quite a bit here when it comes to the worker counts.
Yes, we will try to dip back in, alas we don't quite get a fourth probe, not yet. We do see our initial stalkers knocking down the front door. Pylon is under threat, the pylon should fall down. There's also good pickoffs here that even does supply block GunGFuBanDa as well.
You know what that means? Hey, these oracles can go even more ham.
They can.
If they find an opening.
They can keep going for now. Stasis traps being set up. Mana catching up with Blink. There is a window. There is going to be a window here where GunGFuBanDa has Blink over Mana, but not the biggest of windows, so not going to be the biggest of deals. GunGFuBanDa, interesting. Look, can actually expand on the left-hand side as he's mining through those middle patches.
Yeah, well, we can't really blame him too much for opting for safety, as Mana is the player of map control. Getting that left-hand base behind the mineral wall mitigates that a little bit. It does mean that you're not having your third base be so exposed to your opponent who has the map control, but we'll see. As the stasis ward does get popped.
And that could have been so much worse. 3 stalkers do get caught out. At the same time, 3 more probes going to be falling here at the natural base. Both oracles, once again, they barely do get away. They're low. They're quite low. One of them especially, but they do manage to survive. They can regenerate their shields, and Mana back at home is taking his own expansion, settling into his own economic lead.
Yeah, finally, Mana, with those 2 probes going down and with those stalkers going down, Mana is able to get this economic lead that he was building towards since the start of the game. And now it's on us to see what he uses it for. He will have Blink finishing up in just a couple of seconds, and we should be seeing +1 coming out very, very soon for an aggressive push.
Yeah, we are settling in. At the same time, GunGFuBanDa moving out across the map, going for a massive push. Is spotted, of course, with these revelations, so Mana can prepare back at home. We have the CranKy, we have the shield batteries on the way as well. Mana looking quite safe, looking quite secure, and can still threaten the bases, still has both oracles alive out there on the map.
Yeah, just chilling around, waiting to find an opening or potentially throw down a couple of stasis wards here and there to extend his map control.
Can always opt to do so. We can see Mana moving through the center of the map. Does miss the main army of GunGFuBanDa. They miss each other. The observer does confirm, but it might be too little too late as we're going for the pylon.
So much Getsy power. We actually see a little bit of a recall coming out here from GunGFuBanDa. Taking this very, very seriously. Cybercore goes down, and that's pretty disastrous at this point for GunGFuBanDa, who was relying so heavily on a stalker-based army.
Yeah, now it's the Warpin and these Zealots. Immortals are on the way. Bay as well. Bold move out of GunGFuBanDa, rushing into Disruptors, but we're not there yet. Gateways are being repowered. Cybercore is being rebuilt as well, but Mana is still containing his opponent, applying pressure, and looking for another way in. Ooh.
Yeah, he's looking, not quite finding it yet, but he is chipping away at this door, at this wall.
Yeah, the wall taking a lot of hits. Oh, we do run out of the revelation, but the Stasis once again almost goes off, but not quite, as GunGFuBanDa does pull away. At the same time, NFC shade into the middle line, and we get 7 probe kills.
8 even. Yeah, really huge lead that Mana is now going to be extending for himself. Seeming pretty satisfied about this, so we can see him not poking and prodding as much into the natural base here of GunGFuBanDa. He's hanging back, he's working on his tech, and if GunGFuBanDa breaks out from this, then his stalkers can try to get a couple of key pickoffs here and there, but there's no pressure on Mana anymore to push forward.
Yeah, thankfully for GunGFuBanDa, he's gotten away with his tech. What is that tech? Disruptors. Disruptors, they are now part of the main army. They are now being produced as we speak, one at a time. And even though we are down in supply, even though things looking a little bit rough here for GunGFuBanDa, as he is down heavily in the worker count, he can pop off with those Novas.
Yeah, in many cases it only takes one.
Eh?
Cases such as this, in which Mana is actually behind when it comes to the army count, so just one well-placed Purification Nova on top of the heart of the Stalker army will open up so many possibilities for GunGFuBanDa to just flood in through the gaps.
Oh yeah, definitely. There is that opportunity here for GunGFuBanDa, especially now that he's up to 2, soon to be 3 disruptors. We'll see when and where he does move out. Now, Mana does confirm the army composition. First Nova goes off. Ooh, does connect with one of those stalkers. And we can see Mana going for his own Robo. I don't think we've seen a Bay yet out of Mana, but he may want to try to go into his own disruptors.
Yeah, I mean, he confirmed the disruptors of GunGFuBanDa, right?
Yes.
Saw him?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did, so it's a little bit of a risk here for Mana to just be so gateway heavy, despite knowing that his opponent has teched up.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on Mana. Meanwhile, GunGFuBanDa splicing it up even further, going for a Dark Shrine as well. So DTs and Disruptors. Nova's going to be going off, catching one Stalker. Just the one once again. Meanwhile, GunGFuBanDa even taking another base as well, expanding on the left-hand side.
Yeah, finally able to expand, now taking a base that both Mana and himself will be vying for.
Yeah, as both players are now on 4 bases. Mana taking a 5th base behind this as well. Is going to take down another gateway. Still heavily reliant on purely Blink Stalker. Now again, Blink Stalkers can avoid these Novas, but we have to be very careful with how and when we blink. We don't want to be caught out without Blink available, as otherwise we're just going to lose everything. And we're going for the dive! Oh!
Wiz able to get the disruptor before the purification over pops.
And meanwhile,
power? Okay, apparently not.
Yeah, meanwhile, across the map, we do slip into the natural base. We have a defensive warp available of these Zealots. Overcharge is going to be popped as well. For now, Mana is holding on. Likewise, trying to push up the ramp, but the Nova goes off once again. Does not connect.
No, it does not, but Mana does snipe another disruptor, and yet another. There's only one remaining, or 2 remaining here from GunGFuBanDa. It's hard to see with the skins.
Like Protoss, it all looks the same, but it all looks true. But yes, as you said, only 2 disruptors remaining. A 3rd disruptor now joining the fray. We do graze the army once again, picking off a couple of stray units here and there. Mana does respect this force. He's going to rotate around, and he may opt to try to go for the 4th base of GunGFuBanDa.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like. Feels like he has to, right? He has to make sure that this base fall into GunGFuBanDa's hands. We do force a bit of a recall, but that's not the whole army, and that's because we're looking to sandwich.
Yeah, we're coming in for a surround. Disruptor's a little bit late to the party. Nova's going to be going off. We do go for the dive. We're going for the Disruptor.
Ooh! We do get the Disruptor, but not before the Purification Over finishes up, and GunGFuBanDa finds a massive army lead.
Yeah, he does find that lead. More Nova's going to be going off. A bit of friendly fire there out of GunGFuBanDa. Less than ideal. Mana will retreat. Still heavily reliant here on purely Blink Stalkers, and he is holding his own. GunGFuBanDa does not go for a counterattack. Is still stuck at home, recouping his losses, and Mana still can pick away at this army.
Yeah, slowly but surely. Relying a lot on his blink control.
He really is. GunGFuBanDa does have the greater concave disruptor coming in as well. Never going to be going off, forcing back the army, getting 2 more stalkers. But Mana's on the hunt. He's on the chase. It looks like he does not get it. Not in time.
And look at that army supply plummet here. GunGFuBanDa might not have had enough momentum earlier, but now he does.
And we spoke about it. Sometimes all it takes is one. That was a massive Nova connecting. We had an earlier Nova as well, and with that, GunGFuBanDa, now momentum is on his side. He does have the army supply lead, is catching up with the economy as well, and Mana, he needs to make some magic happen here. He has to find some damage.
Okay, so gonna get it. I mean, he's taking out his 4th base. I feel like that's only the beginning of what he needs to get done.
Nexus is going to go down. GunGFuBanDa heavily out of position. Is caught out, is spread thin. Likewise, Mana now going to be reinforcing with mass charge load as well. And we'll see how we can engage here, as it looks like GunGFuBanDa does find the Zealots.
Ooh, that was a kill, not a cancel. Yeah, he does find the Zealots, is able to take them out, and we'll go base trade. Interesting.
Yeah, the armies, they do pass by each other. No detection, the DTs! The defensive Dark Templar, they shut down these Stalkers. They force Mana back. At the same time, GunGFuBanDa going for the kill, going for the bases.
And it's really starting to eviscerate him, man. Expanding behind all of this, getting a 6th base. So it's not the end of the world for him, even if he loses these bases, but once the production goes down, that's if the production goes down, it's going to be it, especially with these Purification Novas landing.
Yeah, once again, the balls, they connect. GunGFuBanDa, he has the high ground as well. Mana having a hard time pushing into his own natural. With these Zelda reinforcements with his surround, it looks like Mana will be forcing GunGFuBanDa out of his bases, but that was 19 probe kills. That economic lead that Mana once had is not quite as large as it once was.
Yeah, it's 3 workers, and that's pretty much it. I mean, Mana does have fresher bases, he does have more bases, but GunGFuBanDa also has a hybrid base, so all in all, it's kind of a wash.
Yeah, we're still
basically even.
Yeah, we're still neck and neck here when it comes to the economies, but GunGFuBanDa does have a massive armor supply lead. Again, his Novas have been insane. They've been beautiful here these past couple of minutes. Are we going to try and clash, though? Mana engaging, but here come those disruptors as well. They should be looking to reinforce.
Yeah, but in the end, it looks like it's just a little... Okay, never mind. I was gonna say it looks like it's just a little bit too much for GunGFuBanDa, but yeah, evidently not.
Yeah, Mana does hold his own, moving out across the map. Here, there we go. The disruptors finally joining the main army. It's going to be 2 disruptors here for GunGFuBanDa. Meanwhile, Mana rotating around, but alas, GunGFuBanDa will find him.
Well, not. Yeah, and he will be looking to deal with him like so.
Yeah, it does.
Man, I'm really feeling the pressure. It is on for him to deal more damage or take another good fight. But it's a lot easier said than done.
Yeah, as he bleeds out even more Stalkers, Mana backing off. He's getting his own hybrid base, so he's catching up here in set economy, if not exceeding his opponent slightly. Still working against Disruptors, and GunGFuBanDa now has a second Robo, now has the economy for double Robo production. Oh boy, things are not going to get easier here for Mana.
Yeah, especially seeing as how he's still not teching up from here. He's still relying entirely on his Blink Stalkers.
Yeah, still just a purely gateway composition. I mean, it can work, but you have to, there's so much working against you, though. You have to have your micro on point, your control on point as well, and it's been good, but barely not good enough. As Mana once again rotating around, does run into the main army. At the same time, is setting up for a Zelda counterattack.
Yeah. Setting up to really stretch the focus of GunGFuBanDa, kind of distracting him with the main army for now. Ideally force him to break away a couple of units to deal with those zealots.
Yeah, so we're trading out some of these Stalkers. Again, the intention of GunGFuBanDa being kept here on the front lines. We have 2 Zealot run-bys for Mana, one towards the left, one towards the right. Another base is being taken. I believe Mana just barely does miss it.
That causing me to question whether it's Mana or Mana.
I know.
I'm pretty sure it's Mana. But now I'm not so sure. Yeah. Good blink away coming out from Mana. And he isn't falling to the Purification Novas quite yet, but we don't have blink now! And that's a pretty juicy connection coming out here for GunGFuBanDa.
Yeah, big connections here once again. GunGFuBanDa taking that supply lead, at least initially. Another base being taken. We're keeping up here in the base count. And the disruptor count, I believe, still getting higher and higher. We haven't been able to snipe too many of them in quite some time. And there's still that much more pressure on Mana going for another Zealot run-by.
Yeah, but this time there are already reinforcements or defenses to meet them and deal with them. Purification Nova! Not gonna land. Very nice snipe here coming out from Mana.
Have I broken your brain? Is that is that what just happened?
It was already broken.
Oh, no. Shout out to Bailey094 in the chat. Thank you so much, Gappy. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed the content. Thank you so much for the subscription. As we, of course, are still in the midst of this PvP. Mana rotating towards the left-hand side, trying to find a way in towards some of these fresh mining bases. At the same time, though, GunGFuBanDa does find him and does have the high ground, does force him back.
Yeah, he's got the high ground, he's got the disruptors, he's got the everything. Really working his way right now. Purification was doing such a good job at zoning away Mana. Zoning away the army of Mana, and he is You're gonna try to... well, I was gonna say gonna try to take an expansion over there by the left-hand side, but I've just double-checked the minimap, and that's GunGFuBanDa's base.
Oh yeah, that's gonna
taken.
hey, GunGFuBanDa taking another expansion there towards the left, right next to the bases of Mana. Meanwhile, we do see our rotations. GunGFuBanDa, he's maxed out at this point, and we need to make use of this arm. We need to make use of our advantage. So far, he's been unable to break through, and Mana is slowly catching up here in terms of the army supply.
Yeah. Catching up in terms of the supply, but obviously he has a much lower tech army. There's a lot more potential in these disruptors than there are in these stalkers. But if GunGFuBanDa doesn't nail his novas, it's effectively dead supply at that point.
Yeah, so we've laid out a lot of stalkers here on the right-hand side. We had an attempted flank. The flank did not quite work out. We did snipe one disruptor, but it cost us a lot of stalkers to make that happen. So a brutal trade there for Mana. At the same time, pushing into a concave. GunGFuBanDa out trading him.
Yeah, starting to break free. These purification novas forcing a lot of ground to be given up here for Mana. Mana.
Oh god. As we do see GunGFuBanDa once again out trading, is throwing down shield batteries. Likewise, so is his opponent. Mana also taking the bottom right hand base and setting up for another counterattack, hoping to maybe draw away some of the attention of GunGFuBanDa. Up!
Yeah, but GunGFuBanDa ain't quite taking the bait. He blinks on forward. He nails a juicy purification nova, and that might just about be the final nail in the coffin.
Yeah, GunGFuBanDa taking another massive fight. Mana racing back home, opts not to go for the counterattack. A little bit indecisive. Trying to actually collapse on the main army. Bold move. There's potential here for a surround. These zealots, they can get a lot done. We'll see if we can try and catch the army as Mana. He's setting up for that surround.
Nova? The Nova not quite getting it. Oh,
the Nova's on the zealots. Massive connections.
Yeah, that was absolutely huge, and that was what Mana was really counting on to try to get that surround, and now he cannot get it. Look at the supply plummet from Mana as GunGFuBanDa just stays steady.
Yeah, exactly. It's just becoming far too much here, and GunGFuBanDa, he's going for the kill. He's going for the final push. There's almost nothing left to stop him. The disruptors have been reset, but they did their job. They did what they needed to just get the advantage, to maintain map control, to snowball out of control as well.
And there's also more disruptors coming down. So,
yeah.
There's one in the back line that just came in to reinforce, and yeah, this is looking pretty dire coming out here from Mana.
It is looking dire here as we are waddling into the main base. We are camping the production as well, camping the tech. And what can our blue Protoss player do as we're desperately going for a run by or any kind of counterattack? We have reinforcements back at home. GunGFuBanDa does defend, and again, Mana was playing so well this game. He had map control. He was out producing his opponents. He was out controlling him as well. The beginning of the game, the first half, was looking good here for our blue Protoss.
Then he took a couple of balls to the face.
Well, then he didn't tech up, right? Like, he saw the disruptors early on, and he committed here to the pure gateway army, which has potential, yes, but it's by no means easy to push into disruptors with a purely blink stalker force, and things did not go well there in the aftermath for Mana.
That they did not, but he is holding on. He does have a lot of bases, so he's still mining. Still try to get something done. Try to muster up a second army potentially.
Yeah, his gateways to the bottom right. So he's throwing down a bunch of gateways here towards the bottom right hand corner of the map to try to reinforce. I mean, he has a bank to work with, so he's going to try to make use of it. But again, his goal here is to try to outposition GunGFuBanDa, picking off some bases, pick off some mineral lines. For now, he is deterred. Again, the stack defense of GunGFuBanDa buying so much time.
Yeah, meanwhile, GunGFuBanDa, he really just wants to nail Mana's army in the middle of the map.
Huh?
Just take him out, yeah. Catch the army while they're napping, yeah.
And he does want to, as the center base is going to be knocked down. I don't think GunGFuBanDa is actually scattered bottom right, so I don't think he's aware of that expansion, as he's going to try and force his way through, but Mana does have the Stalker lead here, I believe. He can take the fight.
And he, will be taking the fight over here in the top left-hand corner. Mana losing so many probes, though, and finally, bottom right has been scouted. GunGFuBanDa
Yeah.
going to be consolidating the majority of his forces over here and will be looking to take out that base.
Yeah, bottom right is the last bastion of hope here for Mana. That's his most important mining base. Most of his production is there as well. And the base is going to fall. And we may even try to go for the elimination. We may even try to just go for killing Mana by purely going for the base. As you can see, Mana shaking his head a little bit there on cams. Not too happy about the situation here. He will get a base, but I think that's all he really can get.
Yeah, I mean, he could try to keep pushing, but he can't reinforce his army. There's static defense set up for GunGFuBanDa. GunGFuBanDa has a much larger bank and the Nova. Okay, it doesn't land, but still.
Yeah, we avoid the Nova, but we have reinforcements here for GunGFuBanDa. He can still take a fight. He can still at least hold on to the expansion. And now GunGFuBanDa is going for the kill. He's going for the final mining base in the top right.
Yeah, he knows that by the process of elimination, that's the only remaining possibility here for Mana.
Manja?
Manja. Gabagool.
It's the only one left.
A little, cannot believe that he left this base alive for so long. But now he's taking it out, and yeah, that's just about going to be the final nail in the coffin.
Yeah, exactly. No more mining, no more bases here for Mana. Has an Nexus behind this, but again, no saturation as that mineral line. We dive on the final force, even coming in for a surround as well, and this is going to be the final stand for Mana.
Good game, well played. Mana is called GunGFuBanDa. Going to be taking game number 1. Fighting back here for Berserker eSports.
GG, well played. Mana, I'm sure, not too content about that game just because of the game state, right? Just because he was ahead initially, just because he had a lead, so he knew that it was slipping away. It was slipping through his fingers, not the best feeling there, and he was fighting his heart out.
As we load on into Oceanborn for game number 2 in the top left-hand corner of the map, repping that rainbow jersey, we have a blue Protoss player for Team Liquid. It's Mana.
In the bottom right, we have GunGFuBanDa for Berserker eSports. Here we go. We are going to be settling in. And again, GunGFuBanDa fighting back. Mana going for Oceanborn is one of the more standard maps in the map pool. Not the largest by any means, but has a lot of potential, a lot of bases. We have a lot of counterattack potential as well. I'm sure Mana wants to embrace a bit of a different kind of play style, different kind of game state. This time on a map like Oceanborn, if he does have a lead, he's going to have a much easier time flexing that and breaking through a more defensive Protoss player.
Indeed, he can, but we'll see if we get to that point. As obviously Mana and GunGFuBanDa, both of them have reputations for not being animals, to put it lightly. They're not typically ones to proxy or cheese too often. They do like their standard macro games. In fact, I will never forget, I think, was it GunGFuBanDa versus Neeb at one point?
Yep, Eternal Empire.
Killed, yeah, on Eternal Empire, killed Yoda Slim's kidneys. Or bladder. As,
both really.
Or potentially both, really, yeah.
He did sustain organ failure because of me versus GunGFuBanDa. For those who are unaware, we've been casting for many years at this point, but it was, I believe, was it the last chance qualifier for TSL, for Team Liquid Star League?
It was either that or it was a NA regional of some kind. Or no, not an NA regional of some kind. It was or an ESL Open Cup is what I was trying to say. ESL Open Cup NA potentially.
Yeah, it was one of those. Again, I'm pretty sure it was a qualifier, but I can't remember if it was for TSL or ESL, because I remember DreamHack used to have last chance qualifiers as well. But it was a qualifier, and we were on Eternal Empire, and it was a very, very long PvP. We
An
had
hour and 40 minutes, was it?
Yeah. it was over an hour long PvP. And we remember that the finale... Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I was just going to say, for context, before the game started, you said that there was a little bit of a break to go to the bathroom or whatever. Yoda Slim said, "No, I'll be fine. I'll go after the game."
He said he'd go after the game, Papi. Oh, little did he know. And the problem with Neeb versus GunGFuBanDa, the problem with the finale of that game is that it did not end in a climax, did not end like both players were maxed out on Sky Toss, and they were both just sitting. They were both just sitting for like a good 15 minutes. Not gonna lie, they were just like staring each other down, no one pulling the trigger, and then it all ended with like I think GunGFuBanDa miscontrolled a little bit and like move commanded initially, and then the game, and it just bam, like it just ended like very suddenly. And it was like, oh, okay, that's it. There was no remax, there was no rebuild. It just ended, and
Just ended.
yeah, that ended Yoda.
And so did Yoda Slim.
We're very unsatisfied with the conclusion of that series.
Has been known to happen.
There was no climax.
So it was dark times.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've had...
No, it wasn't the ending that we wanted.
Yeah, it wasn't. It's been a while since we've had, I mean, the meta shifted quite a bit, and I feel like back in the day there used to be a lot more games like that, right? That were a lot longer, I should say, like hour plus. I feel like we haven't really had that in a while, at least not on our channel.
Yeah, thankfully.
Like remember games on... Oh, God. It was like 2 map pools
remember a lot
ago.
of ZVPs that went that way, yeah.
Or even ZVTs. Remember that it was like 2 map pools ago.
True, it was like the 2022 when the meta was basically Terran has to go up to 5 bases and turtle.
Yep.
That was what it was.
Yeah. I remember like Maru versus Dark, like a lot of Maru games where he would just like turtle up on 4 bases, slowly take a 5th, slowly take a 6th base, and out produce the Zerg player in the long run. But like in like hour plus games, not really too much of a thing anymore.
Yeah. We be zooming.
True. It's bothering me. I can't remember the name of the map, but. It wasn't Everdream.
It was one of the dark maps.
Yeah, it was a dark. It was like dark,
it was a dark
greenish.
Map. It wasn't Nightshade.
Yeah.
It might have been Nightshade.
No, it wasn't Nightshade.
No, it wasn't Nightshade.
That was too low.
It was a map that was like that reminded us of Nightshade. And Dream something. It was 100% a Maras map.
Yeah, for sure.
Chat, look it up for us. Anyway, yeah,
DTs.
Mana did open up with DTs, and now these Dark Templar are looking to wreak a lot of havoc as much as they can, but there's no detection, but a very clutch force field and some body blocking.
There's 0 detection here. The DTs, they can wreak havoc for that much longer. Robo is still on the way. Without the Robo, without the Disruptor, without the Observer, what can we do? As DTs, they take down the pylons, they can take down the base itself if they so chose to. Robo just now finishing DTs. They're trying to make their way into the natural. Nice body blocking out of GunGFuBanDa.
Yeah, there was a slight little supply block here for GunGFuBanDa, which is unfortunate because it just does delay the Observer by just a little tiny bit here. Mana satisfied with the damage that he's dealt, so he's going to recall his DTs, morph them into Archons, and gear up for round 2.
Yeah, unfortunately, both DTs were in the main. If we had one at the natural, then that could have been game. Straight up, that could have just been the end of the game then and there. But GunGFuBanDa does barely hold on and can, from here, attempt to recover.
Yeah, thankfully he did get the Robo on the low ground as opposed to their high ground. He is still... he is still taking this very seriously. He is still getting ready his defenses outside that 3rd base, but Mana does not want this game to continue on for too much longer. He does have these Adepts. Glaives finished up a while ago, and he just wants to cripple GunGFuBanDa's economy as much as he can. He is very far ahead when it comes to army supply, but is it a good army? But is it a high-quality army? A good army?
Yeah, as Mana, he's going to be hitting his timing. Glaives is done, by the way, from Mana, as he's going to be committed here with Immortals and Adepts, trying to lock down those Stalkers. Does commit to the Shade. The Immortals, they can just go straight for the Shield Battery.
Yeah, he's able to take that out, and GG gets called. Mana, after game number 1, could be taking a very quick game number 2. You can see how relieved he is after that, and you can see even GunGFuBanDa, he's not that mad about how that went.
GG again, Mana. He wanted to say no to a longer macro game. He did not want to embrace a long one once again like game 1. We spoke about it, but a big reason as to why game 1 went as long as it did is that even though Mana had a lead, he could not kill GunGFuBanDa. He could not break any of his bases. GunGFuBanDa eventually recovered. Alas, that is not the case here on Oceanborn.
It was not the case at all. Yeah, just a really nice hiding here from Mana to keep that Dark Shrine hidden. Unfortunate from GunGFuBanDa that he wasn't quite able to get in with his Halukes or anything like that. I think Mana did a really good job of just chasing them away with Stalkers and just not getting the Dark Shrine until or not rushing into the Dark Shrine until much later, or not much later, but later enough that it didn't seem suspicious.
Yeah, exactly. And at least GunGFuBanDa did survive the initial DTs, but the follow-up Immortal all-in with those Glaive Adepts was brutal. The timing was brutal. GG, well played. With that is day 2 in the books, and we have one final day of WTL taking place not tomorrow, but on Sunday.
Indeed. It's going to be the final day of round 9, and after that concludes, I think we're about to see a lot more clear-cut. The standings get a lot more clear-cut as we go into the playoffs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. As for now, we are going to be wrapping up. For those that are curious, again, tomorrow there is no WTL. Usually it's 3 days in a row, but tomorrow it is going to be a free day instead. I'm actually not too sure. I mean, usually we skip days if there's other big events like GSL or ESL Masters or Home Story Cup. I don't know if there's anything major happening tomorrow though. I know there's the SC Evo event. And that might be a big enough event happening that may force that may clash.
Saul's playing in that, isn't he?
Yeah, I know some big Korean names are playing. So it's possible that they're just making room for that.
Yeah, possible. That's what I'm gonna go for. That's my working theory until proven otherwise.
It's fine. It's fine. But with that, we are going to be wrapping up here tonight. We apologize for not having cameras. We do apologize. Usually we have cams, but there seems to be an issue currently plaguing Discord. And basically, whenever I turn on cams, the stream lags the hell out. So don't really know. I'll try to look into
handle it.
It can't.
The stream just can't handle us.
Can't be handled, Bobby. Can't be handled. So we'll try to figure out any kind of issues here, and we'll try to get the cameras back going, at least for the next time we cast together, Yaku, which should be ESL Asia.
Yeah, coming out on Monday. I like that you said should.
Should.
Knowing the DGen schedule.
Yes.
Coming down.
I'm fully aware, Bobby. Fully aware. Also, right now,
solid should.
But yeah, thank you so much once again, Yaku, for joining me today. Thank you. Do appreciate it. It's always great to have you on to cast and reminisce about FIFA in years gone by.
Yeah, ideally. Oh, Crow's telling us there's a Bulgarian event going on, apparently.
There you go. Don't know if that's related, but sure. Yeah.
What?
Fun fact.
What's going on in Bulgaria?
StarCraft, Poppy. What do you mean?
StarCraft, huh?
Obviously. Also, right now I'm just...
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'm just looking for the ladder maps to try to figure out what map I'm thinking of.
Global qualifiers for Bulgarian LAN?
Oh, I remember. Yeah. The Bulgarian LAN. Yeah.
Come back in. Yeah. And so, yeah, there were invites.
Yeah. Those for those that are curious, is like a big Bulgarian tournament that's happening, and it's interesting because they were announcing players like 2 at a time or something, like on their social media. I think there were some invites related to it, and yeah, I completely forgot about that. They haven't been doing well on social media. they haven't been spreading the word enough, but I do recall.
Yeah. Bulgaria just not typically a region that we think of too often.
Yeah.
For good reason.
They need to hire Gemini. They need to hire Gemini
exactly
to work on their Twitter is what they need.
Exactly.
But with that, I guess we're going to be wrapping up here for the night. So thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. We're going to be back tomorrow, I believe. Yeah, tomorrow with KSL, with the Korean StarCraft League. That should be our only broadcast tomorrow. So it's going to be in less than 24 hours. Keep your eye out for that. And then the day after, we can embrace Sparkling Tuna Cup and WTL as well.
Indeed. Getting back into normal schedules.
Yeah.
Coming down.
Exactly. Coming back to normalcy here. So, otherwise, until then, thank you so much everyone for watching. Thanks so much everyone for tuning in. Yaku, thank you so much for joining us. And do you have anything you want to say before we head off for the night?
I think somebody earlier on said that PvP is not a matchup, but rather a state of mind.
Yeah. It's a
I gotta say,
philosophy.
Game
Yeah.
versus Christiana, that
Uh-huh.
was more of a PvP than SKillous versus DNS.
There's something to be said about PvPs. True. But with that, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Again, we'll be back tomorrow, as we always are, on a daily basis here on the CranKy Ducklings ! Socials in the chat. You'll get a link to our Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Discord, all things CranKy Ducklings. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Ciao.
Bella.